We've been hard at work outfitting our new to us custom aluminum expedition sailboat. It's time for a long overdue upgrade.
Finally!
From our install to hiccups,
Whoops.
we go through our experience so far with more power than we've ever had before.
A lot of weight back here.
But no worry, Travis, we'll counter that.
With all of my newfound appliances.
I'll be going through everything we're able to use on board and all of our budget-friendly finds.
Great deal though.
We've been hard at work this season outfitting Jibsea 2, turning her into a one-of-a-kind, off-grid world sailing beast. Like installing this powerful system that will give us the energy capacity and efficiency we need to run our systems and stay independent no matter where we are.
We're so excited to be installing our lithium battery bank into Jibsea 2 with these 4 280 amp hour batteries from LiTime. We got Jibsea 2 offshore ready enough for us to make it from Panama all the way to the United States. And we had 420 amp hours of AGM batteries, which worked for us, but we definitely wouldn't be able to sustain ourselves off grid.
Pretty much got these just in time as Steph bought all the appliances because she knew we were getting lithiums. Like, I don't even think we'll understand the difference until we plug these things in, because we had 1,000 amp hours of AGM and that seemed like a lot to me, but now we have 11.
Whatever 280 times 4 is. We won't put you on the spot with math.
Now that means we can discharge them all the way down to 0 if we actually had to. So the usable power now is 50% greater than we had with our AGM. So that's kind of cool. And they're a low temp cutoff, meaning we can't damage the battery when we go up north in colder climates. They'll shut down, which doesn't sound like a good thing to me, but if it's going to protect the battery from damaging, it's probably a good thing. But I think we'll keep our boat fairly warm when we're living on it. Like, they cut out at -20. So that's really cold.
Let's hope we never get into -20 inside the boat.
Let's hope, yeah, we never get there. But we're actually going to keep one of our AGMs.
Actually, we kept both and we'll explain more later.
As a starter battery and just have a 210 amp hour starter battery. The cold cranking amps on those batteries are actually really good. So we decided we're going to keep it, and then we'll have a redundant 210 amp hours just in case these do end up going into cold storage mode, and then we could get the other battery to warm the area up and stuff like that. But yeah, super excited about installing these. And we also got a 60 amp DC to DC charger. Although I got this prematurely, not knowing about the whole isolation stuff, so unfortunately we can't use this. We'll have to use our Victron isolated DC to DC chargers for charging the starter battery to the house battery, but we have 2 of them, so we're gonna have 60 amps running in from the alternator to charge these. And then we also have a 60 amp MPPT controller, which should just get us there. Yeah, we'll see. So I'm really excited to get these installed and just get this boat one step closer to being fully off the grid ready. Yes. Okay, oh God. These ones are like light.
Compared to the AGMs.
The AGMs are insane to get out of here. And to get it.
And it's good because you got 4 of them.
No, yoga time. Oh. There she be. So now we just gotta wait to borrow some battery lug crimpers from our friends.
Yeah, we're gonna need 4/0 crimpers, big cables.
Yeah. So next off, to get something to strap them down. I'm not gonna build any more of a box than this. Realistically, I could probably just leave them. They're gonna be fine. The only time we'd not be fine is if we did a rollover, which I don't plan on doing. So strap isn't a dire thing at the moment. But we gotta get some 4/0 cables and battery crimpers and lugs to tie this all in. And then this is going to be our starter battery, 210 amp hour lifetime. And yeah, trying to figure all this confusion out. There's so many wires. I get confused easily. But I think I got it figured out. We just need things now.
At least they're in. First step.
They're in. I had to build a whole new bottom battery tray for it to sit in, or a battery platform, and then I painted it.
Which was just 1/4 inch plywood that Did you double up on that or no?
No, that's just 1/4-inch plywood, but there's a whole metal frame underneath it. Obviously it's metal, but there's a whole metal frame that was there originally. I just had to put new wood on it. Yeah. Alright, so now that the batteries are in their final resting spot, it is time to charge them. So you get this nice little package from LiTime, and the first thing you get is a service card, and what it tells you is the batteries will be shipped between 30 and 50% for shipping regulations. Gives you this little quick start guide, which is kind of cool, and then you can write when you got the batteries and then keep this aside so you know everything about them. It also comes with some stickers and a product manual so you can read about more about the low temp cutoff. For us, that's what we got, and some other stuff to read. So yeah, every battery will come at 30 to 50% charge, and you don't just want to hook them all together. You want to make sure every battery is 100% before you connect them in parallel. So what we're going to do, because we can't use our inverter because it's all tied in and we're kind of plugged into dock power right now and we're using it, and we have time, I'm going to take our solar, because we're not using our solar, and I'm going to make our solar connect to each battery, and I'll charge one at a time. So we'll do it over the next couple days. That's what we're going to do to get them 100%, and let's get to it. Alright, so I got the solar hooked up to the one battery, and I'm just going to refer to the product manual, and it says charging method. We're going to look at the solar panel, and it shows the data you want to set your charge controllers. So what I did is I just went into my Bluetooth charge controllers. I've got them opened up both here. Oops, one. And just go to battery. Right now I've just got them set to both lithium, the user preset ones, which should be fine. If you want to go in and custom set these, which you can, it shows the charging methods and how you want to do it, but I'm just going to leave them on the user presets for now. Another really cool thing about the actual Victron, you can link each solar network to each other so they talk to each other. So this device is talking to this one. So yeah, super cool that you can actually link both Victron solar controllers to talk to each other, because I was kind of worried if I hooked them up in parallel, would one cancel the other out. Victron's got it, and you can actually link them together, so super pumped on that. And then if I get another controller, I'll link that one to it so they all talk to each other. This is set, so we're just going to wait until that becomes 100%, and then I'll go to the next battery, the next battery, the next battery, until they're all sitting at 13.33 volts. And then what you do is you hook them into parallel together, and then you leave it for 24 hours so they can, I guess, sync together without having any other influences coming in, meaning nothing's charging, nothing's getting taken out, and then they can just level each other off within the bank itself, and then you're good to go. So yeah, this is where I've been living for the last couple of days. So what I'm going to do is take our solar charge controllers, and I'm going to hook them up to one battery at a time, and then we'll change the charging algorithm on my device, my phone, so it can charge for lithium. I was able to charge them all with solar. I got them all to 100%. And what you got to do now is, since these batteries are going into parallel, you connect them all in parallel, and then instead of hooking it all up to the system, you leave it for 24 hours, and the batteries are supposed to equal each other out. In case there is a difference in each individual cell, apparently they will even them all out. So let's do that now. Whoops. I wasn't fully thinking when I was crimping all the lugs. We had some friends, they had a set of lug crimpers that they're lending me for the day, and we're hanging out with them, and I was kind of multitasking, and I did not fully think about it on how many I needed. So I am one black and one red short. Dang it. So I'll just connect 2 batteries together, and then they can bounce, and then when I have the battery crimpers and I got to get a couple more lugs, I'll get those set up. So I'm missing these two batteries together, those two batteries together, and I need to join them together like that. But the most important thing is keeping those battery cable lengths exactly the same on positive and negative, so then the transfer of current is exactly the same. Okay, so I just want to give you a quick little overview of what we've done now that it's fully installed, and we've been using these for a couple weeks, and we are extremely happy. And how much more you can discharge these batteries, it's really cool. So we've just installed it in parallel, and in the way that we've connected each negative lead to each other and each positive lead to each other, and then on the negative side we've ran that to a shunt, and on the positive side we've ran that to our charging bus bars. And it's worked great in the past. That's how we had our last system set up, and it was fine. I think there is other ways you can do this, like run each lead to its own bus bar and then having your main leads that come in to the battery bank off of that. But this is how we've done it, and so far we're loving it. So I'll take you over here now, and I'm going to show you what we've done on this side of things. On this side, we decided to keep both of our AGMs that we bought in Panama, just because we probably won't be able to just sell one. And since I was going to keep the other one for a starter, might as well put them both together and have a super redundant system. So these are now our dedicated starter batteries, and in worst case scenario, if we ever killed these batteries or they shut down or whatever, we could easily switch a couple wires over and then still have 420 amp hours of a house bank if we had to. The alternator starter I've ran to the AGMs, and then they run into our isolated DC to DC chargers. These are smart chargers, so they can be configured to charge properly for our lithiums, as well as now we have 3 MPPT controllers because I installed a forward solar panel on our foredeck, and they all run to a negative bus bar and a positive bus bar, and those bus bars run, so the positive lead goes to the furthest left side of our lithium, and the negative go into a bus bar over here. Not the battery, because if it goes into the battery, then the shunt's not going to read the current going through, and then you'll get a false reading on your shunt. Yeah, so we've been using the system now for a couple weeks, and yeah, like I said, we're really happy with it. And these definitely start the engine, no problem.
So the fact that we got lighter batteries but still kept our AGM, doesn't that just defeat one of the perks of having lighter batteries?
Yeah, our bum of our boat is pretty low on the water now. I was really looking forward to lightening the load of these AGMs and just putting one like light starter battery in it, but I just don't think we'll sell these.
And we paid so much for them.
And we paid a lot for them, so might as well keep them as a redundancy. But yeah, there's a lot of weight back here.
Which means I'm going to do my part in balancing the weight and the rest of the boat, which, like Travis mentioned, I am doing quite well with all of the new appliances that we have on board Jibsea 2. We have now more appliances than we've ever had. And I think it's done from us being in Panama, like going into town all the time and seeing how inexpensive appliances were. Like they were super, super cheap there for what they were. So yeah, I couldn't help myself. So I'm just going to take the last half of this episode to show you guys what we have on board and what we're going to be using the lithium batteries that we have to run all of these no problem, hopefully. So the first one, well, this isn't new, but this is like our baby. It's the first thing we go to save down below if we go on a sudden heel. But yeah, this is our espresso machine. It's 20 bars of pressure for like a true espresso. And this thing uses how many amps? 1,350 watts. And we kind of look at it in amps, like what the amperage draw is going to be on our 12-volt system, because we run all of our AC appliances through our inverter. So how we calculate the amperage draw of the appliances that we run is amperage equals watts divided by volts, in our case 12 volts. This uses about 112.5 amps at its peak, and it only takes us like 45 seconds, so it's not really a concern. We use it every morning and it's fine. And then the next thing that we got, well actually this was like the first thing that we got when we were in Panama, an air fryer, finally, because it was $29.99 for a 2-liter. So I couldn't not get it. And we use this thing like 3 times a day sometimes for about 15 to 20 minutes. And the draw is 75 amps because it's a little guy. It's just 2 liters, 900 watts. And yeah, it's been fabulous. And another thing we got in Panama, a rice cooker. You'd think that we would have had one on board, but we were always just making rice on the stove, using the propane stove, which wasn't a big deal. But now this just frees up a coil. And when we don't want to use propane, we just plug this guy in. And this guy is very, very low wattage. It takes 20 minutes, 360 watts for about 20 minutes. And then to keep warm, it's like 1.5 to 2 amps. So not a big draw at all. Next, we have a waffle iron. We've had this on board since Jibsea 1, and it uses 560 watts on the highest setting. And I like it on the highest setting because I like my waffles super toasty. We've also always had this on board, just a little KitchenAid 5-speed hand mixer. Doesn't draw a lot either. It's, how much? 60 watts. And then this is one of my favorites. I got this when we got back to the States. It's a 5-in-1 immersion blender. And out of all the 5 attachments, the ones I really like are just like the immersion blender part, like this thing here, this attachment. And then it comes with a cup, which I just use to make, I don't know, sauces, smoothies even. The other attachment I use a lot is this guy, which is the food processor. It's the smallest one I've come across instead of like those big, huge ones. Detach this part here and you plug it in there. So I have found this to be awesome. This whole unit, this is quite a powerful one that I found really cheap on Amazon. It's 1100 watts. Great deal though at $29.99. So this is another thing that we've always had on board, a blender for frozen drinks. And I would use it as a food processor as well sometimes. 1000 watts. I don't love it though because it's like the upside down one, so things just get all messy at the base. But now that we have the 5-in-1 immersion, I actually use that a lot more often for things like quick sauces or to puree anything, smoothies as well. It crushes ice with the 1100 watts. So I think we might actually get rid of this. Oh, but it had the suctions. So I did like that because I knew that it was going to stay put when we were underway. And then we got a food saver, finally got one. Just never really wanted an additional appliance just to like, you know, store food. But this guy is quite small and it was only $25.99 in Panama. So had to. It is only 100 watts, so not a lot of draw either. Also got a coffee grinder to go with the espresso machine. This little guy in Panama we got for like, I think $10. And it draws, it's 150 watts, so it doesn't draw very much at all. Another thing that was a great addition, an induction stovetop. We will never go all electric in our galley, I don't think, because with the propane stove, it's just good knowing that if it was really cloudy, we didn't get a lot of solar, we would still be able to have a hot meal instead of having, you know, all electric and being fully reliant on solar and battery charge to be able to cook a hot meal. But this just is nice if we don't want to heat up the boat with propane when we're in the tropics. So yeah, this guy is 1600 watts. So it does draw a little bit more power because when we're cooking, say, with my new big pressure cooker, it's induction compatible. So yeah, this is 7 liters or 7 quarts, close enough. That does take about an hour and a half. So if I was using it on full 1600 watts, it would draw a lot of power. But this is why I got the stovetop one, because we could also use it on the gas stove. This was inexpensive as well. I think it was like 45 or 50 bucks. Same with the induction stove on Amazon. I've been buying a lot of Amazon recently. I think that might be it. Oh, we do have a microwave. It's a 700 watt microwave that came on Jibsea 2, which we've since removed because we hardly ever use the microwave. But yeah, that is another thing that we've kind of always had on board, but just don't really use. If you are interested in any of the appliances that we use, we try our best to put links to all of these things in our Amazon storefront, or the ones that are closest enough, because sometimes we would have gotten them in, say, Europe, like in the UK. So sometimes it's not the exact same products that are available, but we try our best if we got it on there just put the link in the description box below where you can find our Amazon storefront. But yeah, I think we should have all of the power now to run all of the things, and we're very, very excited to be a lot more self-sustainable on the hook. So now we just have to get off of the dock. I think we're almost there. It's getting kind of cold now, so we are excited to be closer and closer with each project and each video you watch. But yeah, stay tuned. We've got lots more coming ahead on Jibsea 2. If you like this video, please give us a subscribe, a thumbs up, and leave us a comment below. We'll see you next week. Bye.